everybody, and welcome to Stockholm International Film Festival and the first days of our industry days. We're very happy to start with our very popular segment, Meet the Streamers, but we're also going to have a lot of work in progress segments and seminars, master classes, and also cocktails, of course. But so now we're going to start with Meet the Streamers, and in the evolution of film industry has been largely focused on distribution and how we consume film. Streaming platforms are continuing to move further beyond distribution and into the world of production. And joining us today are three of the main, most established streaming companies, and we're going to get to hear their thoughts on film and television. And we're starting with SkyShowtime, which launched in Sweden and across all the Nordics just last year. It's a joint venture of Comcast and Paramount Global that was created specifically for Europe. And SkyShowtime brings together the best of Hollywood and local programming. This year alone, SkyShowtime will premiere 10 original series, including the newly released Swedish-Finnish SkyShowtime Original Codename Annika. And today with me, I have the SkyShowtime CEO, Monty Sarhan, and also Chief Content Officer, Finke. Welcome. National Film Festival. How are you enjoying the festival so far?
So far, it's been fantastic. And first of all, I think it's great to see the attendance come back post-COVID. So it seems like it's really busy, which is a great thing. It's a great thing for film, and it's a great thing for the Stockholm Film Festival. I think the number of films that are being screened, I think there's maybe 11 of the entrants for the Oscars are being screened. So that's fantastic. And so it's just been really exciting. One of the films that's being screened is Poor Things with Emma Stone. And we're also going to be screening our show, The Curse. It's a SkyShowtime Original. So I was very pleased to see her on the cover. But so we're screening our show, The Curse, on Thursday with Emma Stone. It's been fantastic. It's great. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, don't miss The Curse. It's great. Before we jump in, can you both please introduce yourself and your role at SkyShowtime? Maybe we can start with you, Monty.
Sure. My name is Monty Sarhan. I'm the CEO of SkyShowtime. I joined last year around January. It's a brand new venture between, as you mentioned, Comcast and Paramount Global. And in the space of that year, we've grown from 0 employees to over 200 employees. And we launched in 22 European markets in the space of just 5 months. So 22 markets in 20 weeks, do the math. That's pretty intense. And we're a European service through and through. These two great entertainment companies, global entertainment companies, came together to create something unique and different for these European markets. And so we're dedicated to our markets. We have an office here in Stockholm. We have 7 offices throughout Europe. And we bring together sort of the best of global content from our shareholders and also local content. And prior to that, I was at Comcast, and before that, I was at Paramount Global. So I've actually worked at both of the shareholders previously.
Thank you.
I'm Kai Finke. I really only just joined SkyShowtime about 2 months ago. I've been in production and distribution of film and TV for about 20 years. The first 10 of those I worked in Germany and for German distributors. Then briefly I spent some time with Vodafone before joining Netflix, that I spent about the last 9 years with. At Netflix I was overseeing a couple of things, but I think kind of for the longest time the kind of pan-regional European co-production efforts, Borgen, Peaky Blinders, Fowler, Bonus Family, these kind of projects were sitting in my budget. And here at SkyShowtime as Chief Content Officer, for somebody like me who's really through and through a content person, it's so exciting to see kind of the best of both worlds come together. There are really incredible franchises available on SkyShowtime. Obviously the service is kind of powered by Paramount and by NBC Universal. It's incredible brands, but we are also adding a lot more kind of local content going forward. We already have launched some local content, as you mentioned, including Codename Annika. So this is a really super exciting new gig for me.
Yeah, it's great to hear you just joined the team. Congratulations. Can you tell us a bit more about the programming team that you have?
So while I'm overseeing the programming efforts kind of holistically, I would say the most important person in this room for those that have a show to pitch or a project to pitch is neither Monty nor me. It's actually this gentleman here, Fredrik Ljungberg, who was famously named after a Swedish football player. So would you just quickly wave? Most people know you anyways. So Fredrik is our regional content director. He's Stockholm-based. All Scandinavian projects that we're going to be taking into consideration will land on his desk before they land on my desk. There are more colleagues that we have kind of with boots on the ground in different offices. We have a regional content director in Poland and Warsaw and another one in Spain. And I think that just shows how we are committing to also kind of the local industries by making ourselves available in those markets.
And Monty, I believe another congratulations is in order to tell to you. You celebrated SkyShowtime's first birthday. How was the first year?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there was a big cake. It was great. We launched last September. Our first markets were the Nordics, including Sweden, of course. And it's been great. I mean, the reception has been fantastic. I mean, you look at the collection of brands that we bring together in one place under one umbrella. I mean, every single one of these, I mean, you know, Universal and Paramount are two of the oldest studios in Hollywood. Everyone who's ever sat in a darkened theater and seen the Paramount Mountain or the globe spinning with the Universal logo knows what that means, knows the quality that comes with that kind of content. DreamWorks, Nickelodeon, all of that. So we're extremely proud to be the home of all that great content. And the reception from consumers, not just in the Nordics, but across all of Europe has been fantastic. We're performing way ahead of our expectations. People are drawn to this content. And you know, we have big global blockbusters. Last year we were over 50% of Hollywood box office. This year we're close to 50%. That's tremendous. I mean, we have more box office on the service than any other streaming service in our markets. And so we're exceptionally proud of that. And you know, there's big movies on the service right now, from Dungeons and Dragons to Babylon. We have Super Mario Brothers coming, Transformers coming. So the pipeline is fantastic. And add to that all of the big shows. We have the Frasier reboot. We have Special Ops Lioness, which we just premiered recently. And so all of that taken together has really powered our success here in the Nordics in the past year. And
looking ahead now, can you tell us a bit about your plans for 2024?
2024 is going to be a big year for us. You know, we're going to continue to obviously grow the service. We want to bring in more people. We're going to ramp up programming. Kai will speak a little bit more about that. But we think local programming is key to our success. We think that's going to attract more audiences. But it's also about expanding the platforms we're on. And you know, we're a big believer in partnerships. We have Tele2 and Alente. Those are two very important distribution partners for us. We believe in making the service ubiquitous wherever consumers are. So that's going to be an incredibly important part of our strategy in 2024.
And Kai, there's some incredible franchises on the service, both series and movies. How important are local commissions in your programming strategy?
Yeah, I think, I mean, as you could see from the sizzle, there are incredible franchises available on SkyShowtime today. And you know, if you're a fan of Hollywood, there is, I mean, endless content there for you to enjoy throughout winter and summer and another winter. But we've understood that it really makes a difference for services to also program local and complement that, you know, offering of incredible global brands with local titles. So no, we are going to make a continued push into that space. We are here to stay. We really want to kind of liaise and connect and collaborate with the local production industries, and I would really expect everybody here in this room to keep this gentleman very busy. With Codename Annika, we've really seen how much traction a local show can generate. Just about a month ago, maybe 6-7 weeks ago, we came to Stockholm to host the premiere of the show. Really star-studded red carpet event. Sarhan came, and then Ardalan Ismaili, that everybody here I think should be familiar with, and Helena Bergström and others made time for the event. No, it was fantastic, and it's kind of those moments I think that we all live for, but it's also those kind of shows that our audiences are expecting. So we definitely want to continue to commit to local programming, complementing all of these global brands.
I'm curious, in your professional opinion, why do you think the Nordic noir genre continues to gain popularity?
It's been so popular for, what is it now, almost 2 decades
Yeah.
and more, but I think really content made in the Nordics beyond Nordic noir has found a global audience over the last 2 decades. Borgen isn't a Nordic noir, is it? And but then there are many examples for great shows in that genre. Codename Annika, I wouldn't even really refer to as a Nordic noir. There's a lot of daylight there, and it's set in the art world, and it takes a slightly more kind of dramatic angle than kind of this character-driven crime angle of some of the other Nordic noirs. But it's definitely no secret that this is a genre that's really captivating, that audiences are really looking for on services. It's like reading a good book. It's highly addictive in a way. It's a wonderful genre to program, and we're definitely also looking for content in that space. If it feels kind of both unique yet familiar, ideally IP driven, I think we would certainly consider a Nordic noir. But here, I think we want to be content type and kind of genre agnostic, and we will also take into consideration shows from shows and movies even from other genres.
And before I open up to the audience, I would like to ask both of you, what would you be looking for in any future SkyShowtime originals? Would there be any specific genre or ingredient?
Ideally, we're looking for hits that can return, grow the service, be conversational, feel timely, be buzzy, feel locally authentic. I'm always looking for a certain confidence that a project has. You want the project, not the producer so much, but you want the project to come through the door and really leave a mark and leave an impression. And in Scandinavia, it's been so impressive to see how from countries, from also kind of creative ecosystems that are relatively small compared with other countries, apparently there's something in the water here. So much great creativity can originate, and for content executives like myself, that's the best scenario. You really don't have to look too far to find amazing stories, and amazing stories is what it's all about. Now, in how they are coming together, I think even there we're agnostic to kind of the partnership model. Co-productions are, I think, a very valid kind of method or way to co-finance. And kind of co-shape project editorially. We would be considering more originals that we are commissioning. Acquisitions is something we are going to be looking into. As long as it's kind of mainstream with an edge, relevant, authentic, successful ideally, that's what we're looking for.
Monty, what about you?
Well, I think Kai said it extremely well, but yes, I think it's about finding local stories that are well told, authentic storytelling, things that resonate with local audiences, and above all, something that is worthy of putting our brand on there. So those compelling stories have to be super high quality. We want to be the home for that kind of content. I think if you look across the streaming landscape, there are others who have exited the scripted space and exited the original space in some of these markets. We're proud to be here. We're proud to be in a European streaming service. And I think that's how we can really distinguish ourselves with local storytelling.
Thank you. Do we have any audience questions?
I
Oh,
can
sorry.
speak loud.
We have a mic.
Okay. Otherwise, I can speak loudly. Okay.
Is it working? Yes. My name is Marianne Wiltorp and I'm a screenwriter. And I'm interested in what kind of genres are you developing right now that are originated here in Sweden?
I mean, as we, I think, already mentioned, we're really agnostic to the genres at this point. We're a young service. I think our funnel is still relatively wide. We don't also, as commissioners, we want to avoid this impression of being too prescriptive ourselves. So for script writers, I think that makes it for a really interesting proposition to just approach us, talk to us, and maybe present a couple of ideas and pitches to us. I've worked across Bonus Family, and that wasn't a Nordic noir, but it happened to return for 4 seasons. Worked across Borgen. I think before Borgen existed, nobody would think that a political drama out of Denmark would kind of really change the world in storytelling, and it did. So it's really up to you to take your best ideas and pitches to us. Film or series, anything from crime to comedy, or even a true crime story could resonate with us and our audiences.
And I do have a follow-up question. Do we need to...
My follow-up question is, do we need to do this through a production company, or can we come to you as just screenwriters?
Well, from experience, the more there is of a package, and the more kind of we can rely on this submission to really kind of come to life within, let's say, a year or two, is just helpful for our decision-making process. If there's a production company already attached, if you have already talent attached, also on-screen talent, all of that certainly helps in our assessment of a project. But I wouldn't make it a rule or a requirement at this point.
Carolina Berghill, I'm the producer. I have a question about international co-pros. So how open are you to going outside of the Nordics, since you're Nordics based now? If it's authentically or organically, the story lends itself to outside of Northern Europe. Is that something? Is that something that you're open to?
Yeah, I mean, as a German, I have grown up with Scandinavian TV, and Germans just love the kind of Nordic way of storytelling. So do the French and the Italians. And if you combine certain Scandinavian storylines kind of organically with a kind of a creative angle or anchor from also another region, that can make sense to a story, and that wouldn't lead to us ruling out that project, as long as obviously there's still a very strong, relevant, authentic kind of creative anchor to a story here in this region. We are available and operating in more than 20 European territories at this point. I'm giving you an example. We're not available or not operating as a standalone service right now these days in Germany. Now, if you were to co-produce with ARD or ZDF and you don't have a Scandinavian partner, we might be that partner. So at this point, it's definitely something for us to explore.
The battery side.
Okay, I will repeat the question. You can say it and I will repeat it.
Yes, my name is Fredrik Wagner. I'm an actor and creative producer. From a creative standpoint, what's the biggest upside working with you guys, like the collaboration-wise?
So the question was, from a creative perspective, what's the biggest advantage of working with SkyShowtime?
Well,
close relation, like.
I think we as a service, we're going to be heavily leaning on the creative guidance of kind of the local experts, the people that are most passionate about the project. We just want to kind of mirror and amplify that passion. So developing projects would be something we would always look at in close collaboration, obviously, with either the script writers or the producers, whoever our creative partners on the project are. I believe that makes for an advantage, because we're not very prescriptive at this point. In terms of commenting on scripts and cuts, we're certainly going to be doing our job, but in really, really close partnership with the creative team, because I think maintaining the creative intent is key to making sure to maintaining also the local authenticity in the end of the day.
Thank you.
I had a question in terms of the early stages of creativity. You usually want just a pitch, a treatment, or a finished script. What, in your experience, is the most effective in terms of going back and forth?
there is no one-size-fits-all kind of model for what a submission should provide us with or how a submission should look. It's really, by the way, up to you or whichever other producer wants to submit something to determine the perfect point in time where you want to present your project. And you only have one chance to make a first impression with your project. So I think, the more material there is for us to assess, the better. The faster potentially the turnaround time could be from the pitch to at some point later launching a show, the better. So, at any point in time, from the experience of commissioning editor, any project on my desk or on Frederick's desk is always competing with 95 other projects. So determining that point in time when your project is strong enough really depends on your own call on that.
Yes.
Hello. Very straightforward question, but how many subscribers do you currently have in Sweden, and what's your long-term goal in Sweden?
We don't share subscriber numbers, so but yeah, we're very competitive here with other streaming services, and yeah,
Okay.
we'll leave it at that.
All right.
So in the same vein, I mean, you obviously have access to a lot of great content, but your brand is virtually, probably known in this audience, but not with the households of Sweden. How much of a challenge is that you have a sort of fairly new brand? Of course, the audience is sort of confused on where to find content and what they actually have access to.
I think it's an opportunity. It's exciting to bring a new brand and a new streaming service to market. And when you look at it's not just our brand, but it's all of these great brands. So to be the home for this great content, to have that as your calling card, is tremendous. And we're investing a tremendous amount in terms of marketing to build brand awareness among consumers and to break through. I'm sure you've probably seen a lot of our campaigns. And we'll continue to do that. And at the end of the day, people come because of the content, right? People will search and seek and find that content and go to the service because of that. I often quote Sumner Redstone. He had a great quote. He said, "Content is king." And that's still the case today. So even with more outlets, streaming services, networks, all of it, if you have that amazing piece of content, that show, that movie that people want, they will find you. And that's certainly been the case for us, and that's helping us to build a brand. And the more great things we have, especially in terms of local content, the more conversation that gets generated, that's how you build a brand. It takes years to build a brand, but we're committed to this for the long term.
But what's the benefit of using SkyShowtime instead of taking one of the other brands that were already more known, such as Paramount and yours?
Well, I mean, we're a joint venture, so we wanted a brand that represented both shareholders. The way I see it, these two companies came together and invested their most precious assets. So their best content, their technology, and also their brands. These are two of their most premium brands that have resonance throughout the world, whether it's Sky or Showtime. And so to bring it together really symbolizes that there's a marriage of these two companies coming together and bringing all of those assets to bear. That it's something unique and different for these markets. I don't think if you only had one of those brands, it would capture the breadth and depth of what we bring.
So we have time for one more question, I think, from the audience. Last one. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm an American producer living in Stockholm, but I came from Paramount.
Welcome.
But I'm curious, just kind of the other way, as far as local productions, like, is there any strategy, or is it more individualistic about, shipping other content back over to the States to some of these big brands over there, and they're very interested in original content and stuff, but if there's a appetite for international production in that way.
I think certainly, between our shareholders, I mean, they operate 3 very successful streaming services. There's Peacock, there's Showtime, there's Paramount Plus, and if there were a project that they thought had resonance and would be successful, certainly there's that opportunity if they thought that would have travelability.
Thank you so much to both of you for coming and talking and sharing.
Thank you.
your experiences.
Thanks for having me.